The honourable member for Scarborough Centre.
Mr. Speaker, I will share my time with the honourable member from St. Boniface St. Vital. Mr. Speaker, I rise in the House today in support of Bill C-2, an act to amend the Income Tax Act, or as I prefer to call it, an act to finally give a helping hand to middle-class families and those hoping to join them. Our government believes in listening to the people, and for years, Canadians have been telling us one thing loud and clear. They need a hand. Middle-class families have increasingly been struggling to make ends meet. Too many families are having to make difficult choices. Madam Speaker, should they pay the rent or put food on the table? Should they save money for their children's education or save for a secure and comfortable retirement? Do they buy a new suit for their job interview or a birthday present for their son? These are not easy choices, and they are causing stress and hardship for so many families. I have the privilege of representing the riding of Scarborough Centre, and we are a community of middle-class families. Scarborough families are exactly the sort of families that we need to be helping. We need to help families like the one I met knocking on doors in Scarborough last summer. I spoke with a mother outside her door in an apartment tower who told me how her husband was working full-time at a warehouse and she worked nights in the service industry. They hardly got to see each other, and still each check did not go quite far enough. She was trying to find a second job so they could keep up with the bills, but she was worried about who would take care of her two young daughters while she was away. Like so many families I met, they are struggling with bills that are always going up and income that isn't keeping pace. Middle-class families are the backbone of our country. Madam Speaker, these are hard-working families that are willing to put in the long hours and make the sacrifices necessary to build a better life for their children. They value hard work, and they are instilling those values in the next generation. But middle-class families have gone without a raise for too long. Madam Speaker, it is time we take action to help them. Madam Speaker, I was honored to stand with the Prime Minister at a grocery store in the Leaside neighborhood of Toronto last fall, when he promised the first act of a Liberal government would be to lower taxes for middle-class families. Well, Madam Speaker, I'm pleased to say that promise made is a promise kept, and that's Bill C-2. As of January 1st, 9 million Canadians are receiving tax relief. Bill C-2 amends the Income Tax Act to reduce the second personal income tax rate from 22% to 20.5%. It also creates a new personal marginal tax rate of 33% for taxable income in excess of $200,000. What does that mean, Madam Speaker? It means that in order to help those that need help the most, we are asking the wealthiest to give just a little more. We are also reversing the previous government's costly and misguided plan to nearly double the annual contribution limit for tax-free saving accounts. Raising the limit would only help the wealthiest Canadians at a cost of several hundreds of millions of dollars over the next 5 years, while doing nothing to help middle-class families. Madam Speaker, there are not many families in my riding that could afford to make the maximum $10,000 annual contribution to the TFSA, not when many are more concerned with paying the rent. In fact, in 2013, just 6.7% of eligible Canadians made the maximum TFSA contribution. This government was elected to help those that need help the most, Madam Speaker, and that is exactly what we are going to do. Our tax changes will benefit over 9 million Canadians in 2016. A single person will save an average annual tax savings of $330, and the average couple will save $540 every year. That's money, Madam Speaker, that will help families pay the rent, buy groceries, and make it just little easier to put some money away for the future. It is a helping hand for those that need it the most. Over the holidays, I had the opportunity to visit the Scarborough branch of the Salvation Army and the Dorset Park Community Hub in my great riding of Scarborough Centre. I saw so many young families visiting their food banks, mothers pushing their children with strollers that needed help to put food on the table, workers and volunteers struggling to keep up with the demand. Madam Speaker, it makes the heart break to think those young children would be going hungry. This is Canada. We can do better. We must do better. And, Madam Speaker, we will do better. Bill C-2 and our middle-class tax cuts are just the beginning. There will be much more to come when the Minister of Finance brings the next budget to this House. A key element will be the new Canada Child Benefit, which will deliver targeted help to those families that need it the most. When fully implemented, Madam Speaker, the Canada Child Benefit will help 9 out of 10 Canadian families and lift hundreds of thousands of children out of poverty. Canada needs a healthy and prosperous middle class. Mr. Speaker, when the middle class succeeds, we all succeed. We are blessed to live in one of the greatest countries in the world, and we are blessed with a population that is educated, hardworking, and industrious. If we give them the opportunity to succeed, there is nothing they can't do. Madam Speaker, this government was elected on a plan to grow the economy, and we have already started. With the changes in Bill C-2, a fairer tax system is being delivered that asks the wealthiest among us to pay just a little more while giving help to families that need it the most. With the coming Canada Child Benefit and our historic investments in transportation and social infrastructure, we are laying the foundation for economic growth and a stronger economy that will allow every Canadian to reach their potential and build an even stronger, more prosperous country. I encourage all honourable members to join me in supporting this important legislation and in supporting middle-class families. Mr. Speaker, let's make sure Canada's middle class gets the help it deserves. Thank you.
Questions and comments? Questions et comments?